Okay, so hello everybody. Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. I got caught up in a reading. So I'm trying to get online to get your comments. So I have my video going on my iPad and I've got my computer doing Windows updates here, typical. But I just wanted to welcome everybody here tonight that joined me. And I do have a lot of questions that people have posted in advance of the session. I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. Now, this was never intended to be a one-to-one reading, okay? So it's not going to be somewhere that I'm going to be answering individual questions about messages from loved ones or messages about your future, okay? So I won't be using the tarot cards at all tonight. This is simply about how you connect with spirit, also about the signs. I want to get feedback from people too about the signs that they've seen and, the things that they've felt, and is it something that, that you wanted, that you thought might be someone from spirit connecting with you. So if you could comment even while you're watching, just let me know where you're from. Did you have any connections, or do you have are you trying to develop spiritually, that you want to maybe give readings yourself in the future, or just simply connect with your own loved ones? So what are the main things that you want me to go through here this evening? Okay, so as I say, I do have lots of questions online, but it's not going to be something that I'm going to be doing individual, questions on and answering individual questions here, okay? So I suppose the first thing is about communicating with spirit and what is spirit. So for me, spirit is anybody that has lived on this earth but has passed over, okay? So I'm not going to be talking about angels or anything like this. It's just going to be here at the moment. Okay, so how to connect with spirit. So I'm just looking at some of the comments that I'm getting here while I'm online as well, so I may be a little bit distracted. It's my first time. This is something that I've had from Facebook actually for a long time, but I've never used it before. So I thought it might be an interesting way to get to connect with people. Okay, so how do we connect with spirit? So let's look at a couple of the questions that we have on the actual event page. Okay, so I have a lot of questions about individual things. Okay, so let me have a look. Okay, so how do we connect with spirit? I want to say first of all that sometimes we're connecting with spirit and we don't know it. Okay, so if you've ever had that deja vu feeling, or if you're ever talking to somebody, speaking to somebody, and you know something about them that, hi Kelly, hi Amanda, thanks for commenting. If you know something about them that you didn't know before and you have no idea how you knew it, this is either your psychic or your medium side stepping in. And they're two different things, and it's always an important distinction that I make to people. So your psychic side is about reading, okay, in simple language, psychic is someone who reads the energy of the living, and a medium is the person who reads the energy of the dead. Okay, and the dead, I know it's not an ideal world, but yes, we read the energy of dead people. Okay, so if I'm using my psychic side, I'm reading the person that's sitting in front of me. Hi Helen. I'm reading the person that's sitting in front of me. Okay, so I'm connecting with their energy and I'm talking about themselves. And to a certain extent, I can find out some information about who they've lost from this energy. Okay, but I also connect with the energy of people that have passed on, people that have died. So that's getting specific information about their life, things that have happened to them, things about how they've died, all this kind of stuff. Hi Jackie. Okay, so if I'm connecting with somebody, if you're sitting with somebody and you're finding out something that you didn't know about them, then hi Catherine, hi Rosanna, sorry I'm seeing all the messages pop up. If I'm feeling something about them that I didn't know, like something that they've been through or something that they're going through at the moment, that's very likely to be something that I'm picking up psychically from them, okay? Whereas if I'm connecting and I tend to see how I feel about them. So do I feel motherly about them? Do I feel like I want to father them? Do I feel like I was somebody that knew them as a baby? They're things that I'm picking up from the spirit world, okay? So I want to say that it's when you're developing, it can be very hard to know how you, if you're getting it psychically or if you're getting information mediumistically. It takes time and it takes practice. And I'll be the first to admit that there's times where I get it wrong also, okay? There have been readings where I'm picking up certain information, maybe for example about a father, okay? But yet I can't get communication from the father. Then it's likely that I'm picking that information up from somebody psychically. Okay, and so there you know the difference, because you're not actually getting information about the person that you know is lost. So then you're picking it up from the person you're reading for. Okay, so how do I get information from the spirit? There's loads of different ways, and when anybody sees a medium advertising themselves, they tend to say something like they're clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, okay, clairgaussians. There's lots of different ways of connecting with spirit, and who knows what all those terms mean? Very few people. For me, the main two ways that I would use would be clairvoyance and clairsentience. So clairvoyance, two separate words, it means clear seeing, okay, and clairsentience means clear feeling. So that's feeling the energy of the spirit, okay. You have other ones, this clairaudience, you know. If a medium ever says to you, gosh, I heard somebody speak to me, or I heard this very clearly in my head or in my ear, that's clairaudience, so clear hearing. And then clairgaussience is clear smelling. Oh, Leanne, I'm sorry. Okay, I think I'm back now, and I think can everybody hear me now? So I was just asking if people could share. Hi, Patricia, I'm back. I was just asking there if anybody could share any experience that they've had, that maybe I could talk through an example of something that somebody has felt. Totally gone. Natalia, I'm still here. I hope you can hear me. So, for example, when I was a child, I used to see spirit around a lot, okay? But at times when I didn't see the spirit, like standing in front of me, I would definitely... Oh, Rosanna, I'm so sorry. I hope that, you know, that as it's coming back that you're not missing anything. I keep pausing and breaking up. Yet I seem to have a good signal here. I don't know why that is. Perhaps sometimes a lot of people are using this system at the same time. So maybe that. Okay, I'll look into that for the next time. And I'm hoping that this is something that we can do on a regular basis if I get a glut of questions on a particular topic. So, you know, I'd always ask you to maybe send messages about the questions that you want me to answer. Okay. Okay, so I've got somebody popping in and out here. I felt something shaking my arm. Hi, Erin. Where are you from, Erin? Shaking your arm hard 2 times in a row, it woke me up. Okay. I'm completely frozen, Jackie. I'm sorry. I froze. Okay, Erin. So something shaking your arm hard, okay? Is this something that made you feel frightened? Was there a relative that passed over that used to shake your arm? Generally, I find that most people who have some kind of experience with spirit, especially in your own home, it's somebody that you would have known, okay? So don't be afraid of this. Try and speak to the person's spirit, whatever you would like to call it. Try and find out if there's a way that they can tell you. I mean, obviously, if you feel somebody shaking your arm, there's definitely something there. And I generally find when they're affecting you physically like this, it's because they've tried subtler ways, okay, to connect with you, and it hasn't worked, okay? So they're trying something maybe a little bit stronger, if you like, so they're shaking your arm. Did you notice that there was anything else that came along with this? Was there anything, you know, a picture moved, a sound, anything that would give you some kind of clue to who this was, okay? So you need to take the whole bigger picture. Ellen, I'm sorry, it's not working at all. Okay. It's telling me that I have 168 people live at the moment. So some people must... Okay, Amanda, you get premonitions and it stops you doing something that you were going to do. Okay, so this is a good example of something that's coming from your psychic ability. Your deja vu, you get a bad feeling about something. You feel sick that something's going to happen, okay? I had a friend who was living in upstate New York, several years ago, and she was coming home for a visit, But at the last minute, as she was at the boarding gate, refused to get on the plane, okay? Nothing happened to that flight, okay? But the following week, we had 9/11, okay? So something may be giving you premonition about something that's going to happen. It may not necessarily happen to you, Amanda. I wouldn't necessarily live my life around it, but you will know the intensity of the feelings you get. Do you feel sick? Do you feel that it's going to affect something negatively in your life? Well, then I would take that at face value. But sometimes the little things, sometimes you need to take all of the, you know, as I say, all the signs into account. I mean, would you get more benefit from doing whatever it was that you were going to do in the first place than not doing it? And perhaps, you know, the feeling isn't that intense, okay? So it may mean just that there's a difficult time, and yes, you may be having a throwback to something that you've done previously, okay? But it's definitely your psychic side you're working with there. So that's something you could definitely develop on, okay? Seeing things before it happens in your life, Therese, definitely your psychic side, okay? So you're definitely working more with the feeling that you're getting about something. If it's something to do with your life, so you're reading the energy of the living, okay? So it's either something to do with you, perhaps someone in your family or someone that you're close to. It's your psychic side, okay? So not so much mediumistically. Okay, so Erin, you said yes. I can't remember what I asked you. I'm sorry. Okay, Rosanna. Now here's a good example of clear audience, so clear hearing. Rosanna sometimes hears someone calling her name, okay? Very much clear audience. You will find as you develop spiritually, everybody will start with one modality, as we call it, okay? So for me, it was clairvoyance as a child. Then it moved to clairsentience, so feeling the energy of spirit. And now I get both working in tandem with each other. Okay, so Rosanna hears somebody calling her name. So there's somebody in the spirit world, whether it's a relative, somebody that you lost, maybe a friend, someone close to you, or perhaps a spirit guide. So the first thing you need to do is be aware of it. Okay, I know you're probably not always sitting quietly listening for this voice. However, you may recognize, you know, the voice. You may recognize it as someone close to you, Rosanna, that has passed away. Or it may be a strange voice, in which case you know that it's most likely a spirit guide, okay? It's very rare that you would get spirit coming directly to you, especially when you're not a working medium, okay? So they would always come through what you could call an interpreter or a communicator. So it will come through a third party, and that would be your spirit guide, okay? So you need to develop on that. If you hear somebody calling your name, ask them why, okay? Little things like maybe put out a marble or a candle, something that they could easily move or blow on to make it move. I ask sometimes spirits that don't come through very clearly, I ask them to perhaps knock on the wall, okay, or on the table or whatever. And it's very hard for a medium to communicate with their own loved ones. So this is the way I communicate with my own family. Okay, so knocking on the wall, and sometimes I have great conversations here sitting in my conservatory with my relatives that have passed over. You know, 1 knock for no, 2 knocks for yes, this kind of thing. Okay, so generally they're probably yes or no answers, but it gets the message across. Okay, Chloe McMullen, there was a time you felt like you were dreaming and you touched your granny's hand. She was at the bottom of your bed, and then recently you've been to see a medium and she was able to tell you that you were connected with your granny. Isn't that just amazing? Okay, so that can happen. Okay, and I think I've had it happen here as well, where I've been able to verify that a relative has been around somebody and that they've been in a particular room, or that they've seen you do something in a particular room. So one example would be somebody that their father was helping them put up curtains, a curtain pole, and the job wasn't finished, and he didn't get it finished during his lifetime, but he saw that after the funeral that they were doing it themselves. Okay, so things like this, so verification that something's been done, or you know that they were there and it was them connecting with you. So even simple things like, you know, perhaps a mother was playing with somebody's earring, or you know, that they pulled the duvet off the bed. That was something my spirit guide used to love doing when I was a teen. You know, just something to get your attention and to verify that yes, it was them and that they're doing their best to communicate with you. Okay, and it can take time after someone's passed to get a good connection. Okay, so Natalia, you were able to close down the window and get me back. I hope it was worth it. Okay, so Jennifer, oh thank you Jennifer, you noticed my St. Patrick's Day nails. I got them done on Sunday, thank you. Okay, so Helen, okay, thanks for posting, Helen. You keep getting smells around you, okay? So remember I spoke at the beginning about clairgaussians, okay? So you have to be aware of all your senses when you're working with your medium side, okay? So what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're hearing, okay? And also be aware of your own body, okay? So how are you feeling, okay? If you have an upset stomach, well then you're not going to get pains that you're getting from with clairsentience. One of the first things I tend to feel is something about how somebody died. But if on the day that I'm reading I have a pain in my stomach, then I don't tend to pick up stomach complaints or illnesses with spirit as much, okay? So you have to be aware of what's going on in your own body. So you're starting with clairgaussians, which is clear smelling, okay? Do you recognize the smell? Okay, so for example, I have a granddad who was most beloved and very close to me, and he died when I was 14, okay, and I sat with him all that day before he passed. But my granddad was an army man, okay, and very, very practical. He would have used carbolic soap even after he left the army, okay? So the smell of carbolic soap, I know when it's there that my granddad's around me. So do you recognize the smell? Is it a perfume, an aftershave, a smoke? Is it cigarette smoke, pipe smoke? Turf? Did somebody always sit by a turf fire, or we're always in the bog in the summertime? Okay, so what does the smell mean to you? Who does it remind you of? Okay, so try and think of all those things, and if you can make a connection with the smell that you're smelling, then you know that person's there. Maybe your granddad smoked a pipe, okay, and you can smell a pipe or a cigar or something like this, okay? So what does the smell mean to you? This person is trying to let you know that they're around, so obviously it's a familiar and strong smell, okay? So somebody's trying to get you to you. Okay, so Erin is back on. You saw smoke in the middle of the night. You thought the house was on fire. You got up and it disappeared. Okay, so is that energy? This is what I'm always trying to figure out when I'm reading for people. Okay, am I feeling something that, especially when I'm doing house parties, am I feeling an energy that's connected to the house that I'm in? Okay, so I did a party in a house not too long ago, and it was a very, very old house, okay? The house was well over 100 years old, and I was connecting with people that had lived in the house over this 150 years, and not necessarily the people that I should have been connected with, or that people were hoping for. So we actually had to move into a newer part of the house, an extension that was built on, in order to get away from that energy and read the people that they were hoping to connect with, okay? So sometimes the energy is connected to where you are. So are you in an old house, Erin? Was there a fire there before? You might look into the history of the house. I did a paranormal investigation. Actually, there's an old castle just up the road from me. We did a paranormal investigation there. And when I was in one part of the castle, I felt like I was burning. And there was, in fact, when we spoke, after the investigation, we spoke to the custodian of the castle. It's obviously a heritage site. And that part of the building, although it was now built in stone, and I think it had been rebuilt in the 14th or 15th century, prior to that, castles and everything were built of wood, and that particular part had burnt down, and a father and a daughter had burned in that room. Okay, unfortunately, God bless them. They'd burned in that room, so I felt like I was burning, so there was a fire there. So you're seeing the fire, okay? You saw smoke. Did you smell it? Okay, so your clairvoyance was definitely kicked in. Did you smell it? Okay, so be aware of what else. So you were screaming, so you were definitely feeling the terror. Okay, so somebody perhaps, either they were connected to the house or connected to you. Somebody was trying to get through to you to get a message that this was how they passed, and they wanted somebody to know that they were okay. Okay, so be aware of what's going on and try and find out the history of where you're living, because likely either in that house or in the very near location there was a fire at some stage. God bless whoever got caught in that. Okay, hi Angie. You had a dream and your brother said goodbye to you in your dream, and you got more peace after this. He was a soldier, but you haven't felt him around since. What can you do to have him near you again? Oh, Angie, I'm so sorry that you lost your brother. Okay, what a huge, huge loss for you. And obviously for him, because he came to say goodbye. Okay, so he's missing you. This is his way of letting you know that he's missing you as much as you miss him. Okay, and he's trying to let you know that, and he's trying to give you some peace. What I would say to you, and what used to work for me when I was a teenager and didn't kind of get the connection as well as I do now, and even sometimes now I throw my hands up, I would have difficulty. What I used to do as a teenager, your dreams are a very easy way for spirit to connect with you. Okay, the reason for that is because most of our lives are spent going around thinking of things that we have to do, our to-do lists. Okay, so I'm a working mother, so I always have the school drop-offs, I have the lunches to be made, I have the washing to hang out in the line, I have to think about what we're going to have for dinner, what appointments I have in a particular day, do we have music lessons or rugby practice or whatever in the evening. So I have a million things going on in my head. So a lot of times when I go to bed and I try and relax and clear all that out of my head, that's the time when spirit will come in, okay? Because I'm not thinking of a million other things. I'm relaxed, I'm drifting into a peaceful sleep, and wham, I've got a million spirits trying to tell me a million different things about people that are coming the following day or 2 or 3 days time, okay? So ask your brother before you go to sleep. When I was a teenager, when I was 15 years old, I lost somebody who was very close to me. He died in an accident, okay? He was 31 years old. And it wrecked my head, okay? I was really upset about it, obviously, because I'd seen him a couple of days before, healthy and full of life, and then I saw him, he was in his coffin. And the cause of the accident wasn't clear. So I asked him, about 10 days after he died, when I was going to bed, I said, Kevin, I need to know what happened. I can't accept that you're gone until I know why. And that night I had the clearest dream of exactly where the accident took place and what had happened, and I hadn't been to the scene of the accident at this stage, so I didn't know. I was only 15, my mother wouldn't let me go. I did go up afterwards, and it was exactly as I'd seen it, and I was able to describe the house that was just down the road and where he'd passed and all the rest of it and why. And it turned out at the inquest that this was exactly the reason why, okay? So ask your brother, you know, is he okay? What happened? Can he show you what it was like for him? Can he show you who he's with? Tell him before you go to sleep that you love him and you just need to know if he's okay. Okay, tell him that it will give you so much peace. And as soon as he's got the energy, be it that night, you don't say how long he's passed, so be it that night or some nights afterwards, I know he will come and he will give you the information that you need in order to move on, okay? Not without him, but learn to live life again, okay? I'm so sorry, Angie. Okay, you feel like there is someone there, do I say hello? Hi, Rosanna. If you feel there is someone around, always say hello, okay? Always growing up, my family have been very accepting of, you know, the spirit world always. I have 2 grandmothers, I beg your pardon, great-grandmothers that would have both sensed spirit and would have worked with spirit and done readings for people. So it's definitely in my family. And as a result, even my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, my uncles, you know, whenever anything would creak in the house or maybe a door would open unexpectedly, you know, we'd always invite that spirit to come and sit down and join in the chat or have a cup of tea or, you know, ask them, you know, was anything up, you know, is there anything we should know about? Why are they visiting? So we would always join this person, spirit, whatever it is, into the conversation, okay? And we would never, you know, never exclude them, ignore them or anything like this, okay? So yes, absolutely say hello, ask them why they're here. Okay, Jackie, you hear someone call your name and you feel someone sitting on the end of your bed. Likely a spirit guide. Okay, my spirit guide spent, I think, you know, about 15 years sitting on the end of my bed, tugging at the duvet, shaking the bed, kicking the bed, you know, trying to get my attention. This is someone trying to get your attention for whatever reason, okay? So if you've had a recent loss, if you've something upsetting going on in your life, you know, they could be there for a million reasons, but it's likely to support you through something. So by all means, talk to them. Take the comfort that's been offered, okay? I know we hear an awful lot of talk about evil spirits, and it's something maybe we'll do another night, but I don't believe in them, okay? So don't ever be afraid. Nobody's going to come to do you harm, okay? The old saying of being afraid of the living is very true, okay? Hi, Emma. Any spirit around you? I'm not doing personal readings on this tonight. It's just to discuss people's experiences, okay? Jeanette, your son has a fear of sleeping in his own room. Could there be someone in the room with him? You know, there could be. Has he had a negative experience in the room? It's hard to know, is he having a mediumistic or a psychic experience in here? You know, children can be cunning. Does he just not want to sleep in that room? Okay, is it a genuine fear? Okay, so there's crystals that you can use to help him with that. You know, things like black tourmaline, things that will keep negative energies away. And then other things like tree jasper, maybe to help him sleep, to get him off to sleep quicker so that he feels more relaxed and comfortable. Okay, so any angel top will be able to help you with that. but it's very unlikely. Children do have a sixth sense, if you like, that they see spirit and feel spirit, you know, much more acutely than a lot of us adults. But I would say that there's nothing going to harm him. If you think the room itself is that there's an energy in there, a lot of people say that by burning sage, you know, going into the corners of each room will clear the energy. Okay, I'm not sure that I believe in that personally, but if you feel that that's going to help and that it will clear the energy, absolutely do it. Whatever you feel comforts you and comforts your son. Okay, I would go down the crystal route more so. Okay. Sometimes get the feeling when you're doing something that I've already done. That's probably the washing up, Linda, because we do it every day regardless. Okay, I'm only joking. Yes, that's deja vu, okay, and that's a real psychic feeling, okay. You've been here before, you know, you've done something before, you feel that you may have, you know, lived this life before. Absolutely deja vu, definitely your psychic side. And maybe even, you know, I'm going to say maybe you've been reincarnated, but I think at this stage everyone's been here several times before, and we've chosen to come back here. It's topic for another night, but yeah, definitely your psychic side kicking in there. Okay, let's see. Anne-Marie Kelly, I'm sorry to hear your sister's passed over. I won't be speaking to people individually tonight. Aaron, here's a mum call your name when you're sleeping. Oh, it's gone. Okay, you'd love to hear her again, but sometimes you hear like someone upstairs when you're downstairs. Okay, so you can hear footsteps going around upstairs. Okay, you hear your mum calling your name when you're sleeping, but lately it's gone. Okay, probably, I can't say obviously for definite without doing medium readings for everyone, but likely it is that perhaps, you know, you tense up when she says your name. When you feel her energy, does it make you upset? Okay, I find that a lot of time with spirit, you know, when they come close, and as I said, the first thing that I tend to feel about somebody is something about how they died. So if it's painful and I tense up, immediately the spirit backs off. Okay, so I have to try not to. And you know, sometimes they come through with a huge amount of emotion and I'll just burst into tears, and that will make them back off too, because they do not want to bring any discomfort, any upset or anything. They're trying to come through to let us know that they're okay and that they're around us and that they still live on. Okay, so likely it was just the emotion that made your mom back off. So talk to her. So you mostly heard her when you were sleeping, heard her call your name when you were sleeping. So again, before you go to sleep at night, speak to your mother, okay? Tell her that you miss her, you miss the sound of her voice and you need to hear it again, and that it didn't scare you, and that yes, while you're emotional, it's a nice kind of emotion. So explain to her that it's not scaring you, okay? Sometimes you hear someone upstairs when you're downstairs. You know, your clear audience has definitely kicked in. You can hear the footsteps around the house. And it's definitely someone that, you know, would have walked this path before. So someone that spent time in your house when they were alive. So perhaps your mom, okay? So many, Aaron, so many things that had happened. You saw a little boy clear as day, but you were the only one home. My neighbour said it was a demon. Okay, that's a topic for another night. Aaron, I don't necessarily believe in demons and spirits and evil spirits. So we'll definitely, I'm going to make a note of that topic and we will do it another evening. Oh, Therese Corcoran, you see and feel things. You saw your husband passing before it happened and you lost him a week later in a motorcycle accident. I've always felt his presence very strongly. What a huge, huge loss, Therese, and you had the feeling. And you know, I always say to people come to me all the time and they say, please don't tell me anything bad, okay? Because what are you going to do with that information, okay? And here's an example. Therese had a premonition of her husband's passing just a week before he actually did pass.